Let's get some different lights in here. The polar bear? Damn, not the polar bear. Not Pete. Damn. Not Pete Alonso. Peter Gonzo. Bye. Hi, how's it going? Let's see what I can do here. I think I may have a friend pulling up from the winter meetings. I am doing 1,000 things a day. Life is changed. Life is invigorating these days. So many new things happening. And the winter meetings happening. And my make it happen Mets, they not making it happen. I don't know what they're doing for real. I don't know what the plan is. Somebody jump in the chat. Tell me what the plan is. What they saying in the chat. Pam there. Pam says, what's up, Keith? Hi, Pam. Appreciate you. You the best. My number one. I know I can count on Pam. I know I can count on Pam. Let me hit this light, though. Just a little light so they could see me. I got my hair tied up. I got the hoodie on. It's type cold out here. Cohen has unlimited money. Yeah, I mean, for the 1,000th time, what is the point in having the richest owner if you're not about to keep all of your guys? If you're not going to keep your best players, what is the point, yo? Can somebody fill me in on what the point is? So let's start this off. I'll get this first. First, I want to bring in the breaking news from Jeff Passan, which has already hit 5.7 million on one tweet. I was thinking I did something having my WFAN resignation announcement go to 7.4 million in 2 weeks. Jeff Passan could do that today off one tweet. So, love the lights, Keith. Yo, the light game is tough out here. Shout out to Elgato. Shout out to Govi. We'll do something where like we show the light game, the lamp back there, and like, yo, look at this up here. If I don't mess around and disconnect, my soundproofing even has lights under it. Cause I'm like that, bro. And then last but not least, let's see if you can see the strip here, right? That's a light bar, like strip around my desk. You know, not my first rodeo. Honestly, not the first studio I've built. This is actually the 5th. And I just know that the lighting and the ambiance is a major key. That casino is going to be a monumental that casino is going to be a monument for failure in Queens. I'll be over there. I grew up going to Atlantic City, age 16 on. I'll be over there. Michael, what's up? Best of luck. At this point, there ain't no luck, but I take it. I appreciate it. It's in God's hands, and God has been putting a lot in front of me, and I am blessed. I am blessed. I am thankful. I'm thankful that God made me who I am and has put the journey in front of me that he has. And entering right now, before we get started here, my man, he's trying to find a spot, but I'm gonna cue us up so that we have this right away. As soon as he's good, we will bring him in from the winter meetings. All right. Jules,
Okay.
you good?
Yeah, we're good to go, Keith. Let me see if I can get this on the wide angle. There we go. Okay.
Live from Orlando at the 2025 Winter Meetings, my man Jules. Jules, say what's up.
Hey Keith, thanks for having me in. I really enjoy doing these daily with you on winter meetings these last 2 years. It's appropriate since we connected at the winter meetings after 19, kinds of. But I'm happy to be on. Hey, all your listeners, and let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, I told you go to the lobby, do your thing. I know we talked like an hour ago and it got hectic.
Hmm.
And I was like, I was like at 2:30 work. So yeah, let's start it off with this. There's two things I want to hit on with you. Um, Obviously Pete Alonso, but then also Cashman's comments. So right here we have it, folks. Breaking news. First baseman Pete Alonso and the Baltimore Orioles are finalizing a 5-year, $155 million contract, sources tell ESPN. Alonso leaves the Mets to make a loaded American League East even better. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you about is Brian Cashman's comments, but we will not go to Cashman's comments until we finish our conversation on Pete Alonso and the Orioles, and I think
Okay.
it'll lead us right in because obviously now Pete Alonso joins the division with the Yankees. So
Yep.
tell me what the vibe was when you heard the breaking news, what people were talking about, the first things that were said, whether it was about Boris, whether it was about Pete, whether it was about the Mets or the Orioles who now signed him.
Okay, so like, there's obviously a lot of disarray amongst anyone with the Mets is kind of wondering what's going on. Even some reporters are a little bit confused about their approach right now, more so towards Diaz and Alonso. I think I will not that surprised with Alonso just because he came here to meet with the Red Sox and the Orioles, and like the Orioles had Kyle Schwarber offer for 5 for 150. So I was like, they might just throw the money at Alonso and they might go over Boston even, and then they end up doing it. So like I got the news looking like I was coming in, kind of. So that's when we were talking, and that's when I kind of had to push it back because I probably had to do like a bunch of stuff for it. But I think it's an interesting move for Baltimore. You could tell they're getting back in the game, kind of after not being too good last year. The ownership looks like they've gotten the approval to spend or whatever because they weren't spending that much, even though they had a new ownership group.
Right.
And for the Mets, it's like I'm not really sure what they're gonna do with the offense, and then the bullpen, you can maybe sign like Robert Suarez, but offensively, it leaves a big hole. We kind of knew this might happen. They would leave the Mets. They were really stuck in the 3 years, but just to lose Diaz and Alonso back to back with like the vibes that they were creating in other off seasons, like with Soto and stuff, is definitely a different situation here.
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned a few things, right? There was a report out that specifically there was interest between the Red Sox and the Orioles. A couple days ago, I said, the Mets better not let Diaz go to the Dodgers. That sucks for
Hmm.
Yankee fans that are desperately trying to get back to the World Series and win it. And then
Yeah.
also, I said, he's coming to our division. The Mets better sign him after they lost Diaz. The Mets did neither one. Now, speaking of owners and them having the richest owner in the sport, you also mentioned the new ownership, David Rubenstein of the Orioles, and we looked last year, right? They weren't able to keep Corbin Burns. They weren't able to keep Santander.
Yeah.
I forget who else they lost. Where I'm like, what's the point of them having a rich
Yeah.
owner
There was a
and not
few.
retaining their own guys?
Yeah, I agree with you. So it looks like they almost got the ball rolling a year late, like a year later than we expected. Probably, maybe they tried to go conservative and see if the young talent was enough to win. It wasn't, obviously. The real issue is still pitching with them. Their rotation's not too good, and like I didn't like the Grayson Rodriguez deal for them. Everything else I think is fine that they've done, but I didn't like that move really.
I just look at it like this. It's a competitive American League East, and obviously they're trying to compete because just a couple years ago they won 101 games. They have young, talented players. They have a re-energized fan base that they let down. And you know what? The Mets let their fan base down. Steve
Hmm.
Cohen called out the Met fan last year and said, "Hey, I just spent money on Juan Soto and a couple other pieces, Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, come to the ballpark." And the fans
Yeah,
showed up. The fans had
they
that
did.
place rocking for regular season games until about June. And
Hmm.
Pete Alonso goes and sets the franchise record for home runs. And we kind of knew the writing was on the wall that they were not going to pay him. This is another
Yeah.
contract, $155 million over 5 years. It's like 30, a little bit more than 30 million a year. Like, that's not rich for Steve Cohen. So clearly, David Stearns, and this is what I want to pivot to. David Stearns has a vision, and I keep saying David Stearns is
It's
destroying
different.
the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are people saying at the winter meetings about David Stearns
Okay.
now having 2 years under his belt and how he is kind of reimagining the Mets. No more Brandon Nimmo, no more Edwin Diaz, no more Pete Alonso, who have been like really a part of the fabric of the team for the last like 4 or 5 years.
Okay, I'll give you some exclusive stuff I figured out yesterday, kind of that's going to be in the story I'm writing, but it's not out yet, so I'll let you hear it. I talked to Mike Bloom of the New York Post about this for a couple minutes, and he told me something that kind of resonated with me. It's like he said that Stearns has his formulas and his numbers and how he figures out like what value is, and then like once it reaches a certain point, he will tap out. Like they didn't have the best offer of the Dodgers. Like he's not gonna go above what he thinks is proper. Like obviously Cohen stepped in for Juan Soto last year. Everyone knows that. I thought he would have stepped in for Diaz because the money wasn't that different. That's why it's really weird. It was only $3 million difference. There was some deferrals. Like I don't know why the Mets wouldn't go to four. I thought they would be willing to do four, but I guess they weren't because the AAV was so high, probably because 23 set the record. So I guess the Mets weren't good with doing that. But I think that was a terrible decision. I really think that was really not smart. I don't like that. I didn't like that at all.
I think I read somewhere that the Mets did not even offer Pete.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
That's
shocked because
crazy.
and that
And
is
to
pretty
not have a
wild.
seat at the table for your leading home run hitter, for your like the face of your franchise, like to not even offer him is insane to me.
It is, and I think they said the Mets were stuck on 3 years, so they probably saw where it was going, and they probably didn't even like bother to go in again once they saw they were in the 4 to 5 year territory. Because I had a feeling Boston may have been sitting in the four for like 120ish range, and then like the reason I brought up the Baltimore thing yesterday was because they offered the money to Kyle Schwarber. So like if they have the money out there to spend, Pete Alonso was the guy to spend it on if it was going to be at that level, probably.
Yeah, that was kind of foreshadowing that, like, hey, Schwarber signs with Philly, they keep their guy, and Baltimore's got that money now to pivot to Pete. Will the Mets keep their guy? And they do not even offer him. So tough days back to back for
Yeah.
Mets fans. Losing your closer, who's one of the best closers in the game, losing your first baseman, which say whatever you want about his defense, say whatever you want about his age. He is a reliable power hitter that anybody would add to their lineup and get better. He's going to hit 30 plus bombs. You can lock it up if he's healthy. And now he's gone, and it's kind of strange. It's like, what are the Mets doing? And that leads me to Cody Bellinger. Are they going to just ante up and be the highest bidder for Cody Bellinger? You think that's the way? I've gotten to this point as a Yankee fan where I'm like, I don't care. If they want to overpay for Cody Bellinger, but they didn't want to overpay for Edwin Diaz, they didn't even offer
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, then go overpay for Cody Bellinger, give him 7 years, and the Yankees will figure out something else. Maybe a Tatis trade. Who knows? What are you thinking about Cody Bellinger now? Because they have the money still. They're sitting on the money.
Yeah.
They can definitely outbid the Yankees for Bellinger services.
They could, and you wonder, like, does Stearns have the appetite to do that? Is Cohen like, okay, now we have to do something since we lost them? Is he going to start getting antsy here? Because I'm sure he's not thrilled with losing both of them. Although he probably expected Alonso to be lost, but like, I can't see him being too happy with the Diaz situation personally. But I think it's like a couple different things. Can the Mets go for like a Robert Suarez, maybe shore up the bullpen that on a lesser deal than they would have had to do for Diaz? That I think they've been linked to Suarez. Offensively, I'm kind of trying to see because like I'm not sure what pieces fit exactly in the free agent market. I mean, Bellinger, yes. So like, do you think if they go 5 to 6, he'll probably be met? Because like the Yankees are definitely trying to slow play. It seems like, but to me, it's like if the Yankees really want him as bad as everyone is saying, why hasn't he been re-signed yet? So it makes me think they might be planning something else, like you've been talking about. And I talked to Greg Amsiker about this yesterday, and he still thinks that they're in the Tucker Derby when Eric Bolin kind of thinks there's like a chance. I'm not saying it's likely, but I'm not going to rule it out yet until he signs with another team.
Yeah, so we're with my guy right now, Julian Guilarte from Latino Sports. He is in Orlando. He is out there at the winter meetings with the news breaking of Pete Alonso. I was like, hey, we'll go live in a little bit. And so we're talking Pete Alonso right now. We're talking the Mets, the Orioles. We're talking the American League East. What's next for the Mets to do? I think potentially they go out and try and sign Michael King. Have you had
Yes,
any
that too.
conversations about Michael King out there?
I haven't spoken about it that much. I've been thinking about like a Yankees reunion with him too, and like some people seem to think that's semi-possible. But like I could see King as a fit. I still think they might get Framber Valdez, but the thing is like if he's still gonna play this money, if he's trying to do this money ball like Oakland A's stuff right here, then he's not getting Framber Valdez obviously with that. Could he get my king? Maybe. Could Ranger Suarez be an option? This is the Rule 5 draft exiting, so we're going to get really hectic here.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
I'll wrap up with you. I just want your thoughts on this, and then I'll bring it home. Brian Cashman's take on his progress at the winter meetings. We're just staying engaged, trying to match up with some things, but it's been tough so far. Don't like the ass coming our way, and I guess the opposing teams don't like what I'm trying to pull from them on the trade stuff. We do have some conversations that possibly could lead somewhere. What is your thoughts on that? And then I'll let you get back to work out there.
Yeah, I would say a couple things. I think they are casting a wide net, and it's like the most boring answer, but like, they're really something to me. It's like I don't have anything concrete, unfortunately, because I haven't done anything. And like, is there something to be said with Brendan Donovan? Maybe there might be something there. I know the Yankees are in there for sure. I heard the Royals were in there too. Maybe that's a thing. Do they try to do like a trade with the Padres, seeing these relievers being shopped now? Maybe is there like that wild card for Corey Seager? Maybe like I don't know, but they might be doing something we're not thinking about if they let Belly go. But we're gonna have to see. It's not like I don't have a definitive name right now, but to me, and I don't, I think you agree with me. They really need to just sign Kyle Tucker, and if they want to be serious, that's what they would do.
Jules, you're the man. Get after it. I'll text you after this, and maybe some more stuff will break. And if so, maybe we can jump back on this later tonight. Appreciate you giving us the time.
That sounds good. Thank you, and best of luck with the show and everything. And I'll keep you posted if I'm hearing anything. I'll see if we can get you some insiders.
All right, man. Talk soon. Okay, folks. Winter meetings is starting to cook up a little bit more. The Yankees are not really doing anything, but let's go back to this. Brian Cashman's take on his progress at the winter meetings. Like let's break down these words, bro. Is Cashman, let me look at the camera. Is Cashman playing a game? Because this isn't audio. I'm just reading what these words say. But is he playing a game? Is he playing coy? Is he playing possum? Is he not trying to show his hand? We're just staying engaged, trying to match up some things. But it's been tough so far. Why is it tough for you? You're Brian Cashman. These are the New York Yankees. You have pieces to move. You have pieces that you need. You have things that you can offer, wheel and deal. You're the eternal Yankees GM. Especially when it comes to trades, that's your strong suit, right? You don't lose too many trades. Anyway, he says, I don't like the ass coming our way. And I guess the opposing teams don't like what I'm trying to pull from them on the trade stuff. Well, I don't Cash, bruh. What's the deal, bruh? I'm going to lean into he's playing the game. I'm going to lean into he's saying less. I'm going to lean into he's not revealing half of what he knows. I'm going to lean into he's sending a subliminal message to somebody that he's dealing with when he says, I don't like the ass coming our way. And I guess opposing teams don't like what I'm trying to pull from them. Okay. Like, the winter meetings are about to be a wrap. And what I said to this on Twitter was, see, me, I kept my expectations low. I kept my expectations low because if you keep your expectations low, you won't be disappointed when the Yankees come out of the winter meetings with nothing. When they pack it up and say, we got Trent Grisham at home. You know, I need that sound effects. I need that sound effect where it'd be like, doom. I need a sound effect in here. I'm gonna work on that. Let me see, because these sound effects ain't hitting right. I need a sound effect where it'd be like, doom. That's not the sound effect I was looking for. That's just built in here. Yeah. Like, Cash, what's the deal, Brody? What's the deal? All right, let's hit the chat before I get out of here. I got a call at 3. Appreciate all you guys pulling up. If you're on that YouTube is gaining. Anybody keeping an eye on that subscriber count on YouTube? If you're on the YouTube, the algorithm is doing its thing. Bang that yada mean. If you're on Twitter, I love you. Appreciate you. Even if you're a hater, I don't know you. But thanks for watching. Thanks for having eyes on me in the crib going live, live, live. See, if I was on the radio, you wouldn't be able to hear my take until tonight, because I would save my take till tonight. I would have got some tweets off, but everybody's getting their tweets off. I have the capability right now to connect. So let's connect. Let's see what they're saying in the chat. I think the last thing we were saying in the chat was about Soto, right? Yeah, there was some talk about Soto looking at the opt-out like like a fat steak. Yeah, Soto will definitely opt out. Whoever signs King has to give up 2 draft picks and a loss of international free agent money. So be it, because that's Michael King in New York, and it's what they got the qualifying offer on him. So what, bro? They should have never got rid of their good players, the Mets. But the team was trash. That's the thing. When the team is trash, it's like, we don't need to save some of this trash. We could blow this thing up. We could blow this thing up. Like, I think, speaking of blowing things up, do we have a sound effect for that built in the StreamYard? Blowing things up. Let's see what sounds they got here. Well, I want to blow things up. That's a 50 Cent. That's a Biggie Smalls. Who shot you? Okay, back to the chat, and Ray says, I have no confidence in him. And he's talking about Cashman. This is what Cashman is getting paid to do. I don't know why it's so difficult. Get fired. He'll never get fired. I just was talking to my guy, Jackson Brody, and I said on the Fan for years, they'll never fire Brian Cashman because they need Brian Cashman to help hire the next Brian Cashman. As long as you win the World Series before the Mets, I'll be happy. No, neither one of us are winning the World Series, bro. There's one team that is winning all the World Series. There's one team that is the favorite to win the World Series, and their one weakness was not having an actual closer, and now they have an actual closer. Maybe he feels like with Cole and Rodon not being ready until June or May might be a reason it's slow. You need to be ready to compete spring training. You need to be ready to compete opening day. That's the reason I don't like Cashman. He can't pick good players. It's not that he can't pick good players. I feel like Cashman plays so much of this game that the rest of the league is tired of. You know what I'm saying? Those Cashman mind tricks don't work on these guys anymore. You know what's crazy right now? I'm a flex on these boys right now. I'm a flex on these boys right freaking now. Okay? Because, this is just little things in media. And I hope there's somebody in here that works in media. I hope there's somebody in here that works at WFAN or New York Post or wherever, right? Because I'm scrolling through my my notifications. I'm scrolling through things that are popping up. And I just happen to see Joel Sherman and John Heyman are live on the New York Post sports account. I got 676 people watching me right now. They got 657 people watching them right now. You see the numbers? Y'all see the numbers? Y'all see the... Hold on. Y'all see the... You see that number is higher than that number down here? Oh. I'm just doing a little simple math. And even right now, as we hit 689, they're at 665. They're at the winter meetings. These old blokes are at the winter meetings. See, part of it is, don't nobody want to see y'all old face. See, part of it is, now I gotta hit them with the long hair, don't care swag on them every day and everywhere. Part of it is you're not jiggy, bro. Part of it is people don't rock with you like that. Part of it is you're old. Part of it is this is the new wave. This is the internet. This is live streaming. This is Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. This is what happens. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Just got a little rant off. I might have to clip that up because that's hard body. I'm scrolling through for news. I'm refreshing and I'm like, New York Post? Let me guess. The New York Post doesn't have, because they definitely have way more followers than me. Let me guess. The New York Post doesn't have more followers than me. New York Post Sports. They do. They have 76,000 followers. That's almost double. But it ain't about that, bro. It's about, the setup, the look, the motion. And I appreciate y'all. Like, there are so many people that have been watching me go live these last 2 weeks, and we're building. What people don't realize is I'm having meetings. I'm having conversations. Every time I do a live, somebody else is like, yo, can we help you optimize this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Is this what you're doing now? It is not what I'm going to be doing, but it is what I'm doing now. So, yeah, let's finish the, things coming through in the chat. Let's finish the conversation here in the next 4 minutes because I got a call at 3 with some other folks that I'm doing some stuff with. Season does not start tomorrow. And the 3 guys Mets lost didn't win anything. Cohen will rip down any core that does not win. There is a plan. We just have to see what it is, not being emotional. Listen, Scott, and shout out to you. That's called copium. The season does not start tomorrow for anyone. But the offseason started a while ago. And the 3 guys the Mets lost didn't win anything, but they're 3 of your better players that did contribute to the wins that you had. Cohen will rip down any core. What has Cohen won? What does he know? What has he done? This is also David Stearns. You know what I'm saying? This is also David Stearns, bro. So, like, y'all got to stop glazing the rich owner. Y'all got to stop glazing the money in the pockets. He got you Juan Soto. What did that win you? Like, y'all got to chill with that. Because, like, what are you saying? Cohen will rip down any core that doesn't win. There is a plan. You don't know the plan. You're not in Orlando with them. And, like, this plan could take years to figure it out, Scott. How old are we? I don't have that much time. They're going on 40 years. We just have to see what it is, not being emotional. You should be emotional. All the Jets fans are freaking out. They should. Save the doom and gloom for the Jets. Not a Jet fan, and we'll be patient on Mets offseason. In this National League, they're not winning a damn thing with Marcus Semien. My God. The goddamn Mets, bro. Yeah. Anyway. Wrapping up here in 2 minutes. Let's see if there's anything else. My guy, I know I could count on Chris Gomez. Chris Gomez in the chat. Chris Gomez said, hit us with the year. Let's see. Wrapping this up. The Mets should have signed Alonso to fix Devin Williams in spring training. Well played, Jack. Well played, Jack. Isn't that funny? The Mets broke Devin Williams, and it was Pete Alonso who broke Devin Williams. And they signed Devin Williams, and they don't sign Pete Alonso. Make it make sense. Make it make any sense. It's so ridiculous. Soto was the start to the downfall of the Mets. You love to see it. You're right. I do love to see it. I literally was thinking today, I'm in the kitchen, I'm making my little wrap for lunch, and I'm like, Soto is probably sitting around like, what did I do? What have I done? I talked about this being a better place to win. I talked about New York being a Mets town. I talked about a family vibe and culture that they were building over here. I should have just told them I took the most money because I'm not winning over here. And now, yes, Pete plays the Yankees a lot, but also, who's going to pitch for the Baltimore Orioles? I don't know the plan, but confident there is one. I believe not just, you're a Met fan. You're a Met fan. Like, you have to believe. Isn't that the Mets slogan? You got to believe. All right, I'm wrapping this up. I got a call. Yeah, they play us a lot in last place. That's what I'm saying. Who's going to pitch? Pete Alonso's only going to get 4 at-bats. I'm the cross, LOL, and I wear that as a badge of honor. Soto Pacheco punch in the air. Devin Williams will be bad for the Mets. Yeah. If you thought Devin Williams was, like, he's on a 3-year deal. I cannot wait for that. I'll try and pop on later. Maybe we'll do a live at 5 tonight if I can get my calls done and go to the gym. Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for watching. And stay up, stay blessed, and stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. I'm out of here.